It's shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
What I think is interesting about this case, this story, is you can be...
Tensions are mounting in the small town of Dunn, Illinois, as local politics take center stage, fueling intense debate and division within the community. The escalating conflict between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and Trustee Bella has evolved from a routine political disagreement into a fierce battle over power, transparency, and accountability. Trustee Bella has been outspoken in her criticism of Henyard's leadership, particularly questioning the transparency of her administration. This has sparked a growing divide among residents, with some rallying behind Henyard, believing she is doing her best under difficult circumstances, while others support Bella's demand for greater openness and stronger leadership. As the dispute intensifies, town board meetings have become increasingly hostile, with both sides passionately defending their positions. For many, this conflict has shifted from a matter of governance to a deeper struggle over integrity, public trust, and transparency. Local residents are closely watching every new development, as town meetings have turned into battlegrounds for competing visions of the future. The divide between Henyard's supporters and Bella's detractors is deepening, and the town's political climate is becoming increasingly unpredictable. The long-term impact on local government operations remains uncertain, as Dunn struggles to maintain its functionality amid the rising tensions. With both sides entrenched, the stakes in this conflict are high. The future of the town's governance is at a tipping point, and as tensions continue to rise, the community faces tough questions about leadership and accountability. The outcome of this political drama is sure to have lasting consequences, and everyone is watching, waiting to see how it will unfold.
With curiosity and concern, Tiffany Henyard addressed her constituents.
The Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor invited the community to Township Talk, where she responded to our report about her use of the township credit card.
Tensions are escalating in Dalton, Illinois, as Trustee K. Bella continues to voice sharp criticism of Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration, particularly regarding financial management. Bella, one of the board's most outspoken members, has closely scrutinized the village's financial situation, focusing on expenditures that appear questionable. Critics have accused Henyard of overspending and deliberately obstructing the documentation process to avoid scrutiny. Bella has positioned herself as a key figure in bringing these concerns to light, further deepening the rift between her and the mayor. This ongoing conflict has sparked a growing divide within the community, with Henyard's leadership increasingly under scrutiny. The tension reached a boiling point during a recent board meeting, when Bella raised concerns about suspicious expenses presented to the board. She pressed the mayor about certain charges, only to discover that the village had paid for them without prior approval. In response, the village's lawyer explained that individual bills under $5,000 could be paid without authorization, though the board could approve them retroactively. However, further investigation revealed that some invoices had been deliberately split into smaller amounts to bypass the approval process. Outraged by what she saw as a serious violation of protocol, Bella voted against the motion, calling the procedure both ambiguous and deceptive. Henyard defended the practice, stating that the costs were within the budget and dismissing Bella's objections as theatrics. The two have clashed repeatedly, as Henyard has preferred to handle internal affairs behind closed doors to maintain privacy, while Bella argues for greater transparency in local governance. Bella's stance on transparency has resonated with many in the community, who now view her as a leading advocate for accountability. Public support for her criticism has only fueled the tension in the room during board meetings, with residents openly questioning Henyard's leadership. Rumors have started to circulate that Henyard's leadership issues are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader pattern of questionable spending, a lack of transparency, and a disregard for accountability. The situation reached a breaking point when Henyard presented the village's budget at an unusually late hour, just minutes before the board was set to vote. Bella expressed frustration, claiming the timing was intentional and designed to prevent a thorough review of the budget. She pointed out that in previous years, the budget had been presented much earlier, allowing residents ample time to review it and provide feedback. Henyard dismissed Bella's concerns, demonstrating a clear disregard for public input and transparency, further eroding trust in her leadership. The mounting dissatisfaction with Henyard's handling of financial matters has brought her once strong reputation into question. Many residents now view her reluctance to answer tough questions and address financial discrepancies as a sign of deeper issues within her administration. Bella, along with other trustees, continues to call for greater oversight and accountability, but Henyard's refusal to be held accountable has made her leadership increasingly untenable. Further scandal erupted after it was revealed that the village's credit cards had been cancelled the previous year, following the discovery of unauthorized transactions totaling tens of thousands of dollars. Henyard had authorized these charges without providing sufficient documentation or justification. As investigations into the transactions continued, Henyard's leadership came under even greater scrutiny. In an attempt to deflect criticism, she even accused board members and trusted community figures of embezzling money from the village. However, these baseless accusations only fueled distrust. Despite the mounting evidence against her, Henyard continued to defend her actions, claiming the expenses were justified, even without proper documentation. She also downplayed the severity of the situation, attempting to shift the focus to her political rivals, framing the controversy as an attack on her reputation. This narrative, however, only reinforced the perception that Henyard was more focused on protecting her image than addressing the village's financial issues. The growing scandal, combined with Henyard's secrecy and lack of accountability, has led to a dramatic decline in support for her leadership. Once a base of devoted supporters, Henyard's following is shrinking as more residents voice their growing dissatisfaction with her administration. As the situation continues to unravel, the bigger question facing Dalton is whether Henyard's administration will continue to prioritize political games over the village's well-being. With public trust in her leadership eroding, the future of Dalton's governance is now at a crossroads. The ongoing political struggle is likely to have lasting implications, as the community grapples with whether Henyard is capable of putting the needs of the village above her own self-interest. The outcome of this crisis will shape the town's future and determine the course of its leadership for years to come. The future of Dalton, Illinois, is uncertain as tensions continue to rise between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and Trustee Kiana Bella. Bella, a vocal critic of the mayor's financial practices, has made it her mission to expose what she perceives as questionable spending and a lack of transparency in the mayor's administration. This ongoing conflict has deeply divided the community and raised doubts about Henyard's leadership and integrity. At the heart of the controversy are Henyard's financial decisions. During a recent board meeting, Bella raised concerns about specific expenditures that had been made without prior approval from the board. After pressing the mayor on whether certain monetary figures had been predetermined for these charges, it was revealed that the village had paid for some expenses without board authorization. The village's lawyer attempted to explain that bills under $5,000 could be paid without prior approval, though invoices could be approved retroactively. The mayor justified the practice, claiming the costs were within budget and dismissing Bella's concerns as an overreaction. However, Bella uncovered a startling revelation: the invoices for the expenses had been deliberately split into smaller amounts, each under $5,000, to bypass the approval process altogether. Outraged, Bella voted against the motion, calling the procedure ambiguous and deceptive, questioning the integrity of the entire financial process. Her stance was met with strong support from the audience, further intensifying the tension in the room. As the fallout from the meeting spread, the divide between Henyard and the board deepened. Many residents, once loyal to Henyard, began to question her leadership. Whispers circulated that Henyard's financial mismanagement was part of a broader pattern of questionable spending, lack of transparency, and disregard for accountability. The community, once confident in Henyard's leadership, found itself grappling with a growing sense of distrust. This frustration reached a boiling point when Henyard presented the village's budget at an unusually late hour, just before the board was scheduled to vote on it. Trustee Bella, frustrated by the timing, expressed concern that it was intentionally done to prevent a thorough review of the budget. Historically, the budget had been presented earlier, allowing residents enough time to review and provide feedback. Instead of addressing Bella's concerns, Henyard dismissed them, showing a lack of regard for public input. This lack of transparency only deepened public distrust in Henyard's leadership. As tensions continue to rise, the political landscape in Dalton has been permanently altered. The mayor's refusal to address concerns about financial transparency and accountability has left many questioning her ability to lead. Bella and others argue that public officials should serve the public interest, not their own self-interest, and that the mayor's reluctance to cooperate and engage in open dialogue has undermined the community's trust in its leadership. The situation has become a political battleground, with the future of Dalton's leadership hanging in the balance. Whether Henyard can regain the trust of her constituents or whether a new leader will emerge to guide the village toward stability remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that the fallout from this ongoing drama will have a lasting impact on the town's political landscape for years to come. The political turmoil in Dalton, Illinois, has reached a critical point, as the ongoing conflict between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and Trustee Kiana Bella deepens. Bella, a staunch advocate for transparency, has made it her mission to hold Henyard accountable for what she believes is financial mismanagement and a lack of transparency. Henyard, however, has responded with defensiveness, further fueling doubts about her ability to govern effectively. At the heart of the controversy are Henyard's financial practices, particularly surrounding the village's credit card usage. The village's finance director revealed that the village's credit cards had been cancelled the previous year, raising concerns over whether Henyard had authorized tens of thousands of dollars in transactions without proper documentation or justification. As investigations into these expenses continued, Henyard's leadership came under intense scrutiny. Rather than accepting responsibility for the questionable charges, Henyard lashed out, accusing board members and trusted community figures of embezzling funds, a baseless accusation that further damaged her credibility. Despite growing evidence against her, Henyard continued to defend her actions, insisting that the charges were justified and dismissing the situation as a political attack. Emails from the bank revealed that Henyard had maintained control over the village's accounts, contradicting her earlier claims. Instead of acknowledging the problem, Henyard adopted a victim mentality, claiming her political rivals were trying to damage her reputation. This only reinforced the perception that she was more concerned with protecting her image than addressing the financial issues plaguing the village. As the crisis intensified, the divide between Henyard and the board became more apparent. Henyard repeatedly asserted that the board did not manage day-to-day operations, further isolating herself from the trustees and fueling the perception that she was more interested in consolidating power than in serving the people of Dalton. The residents of the village, growing increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress, began to voice their concerns more loudly. Many now questioned whether Henyard could put the needs of the community above her own ego and self-interest. Trustee Bella, who had been relentless in calling out Henyard's leadership and financial practices, became a central figure in the political drama. Her efforts to expose extravagant spending and push for greater cooperation within the board made her a target for Henyard's administration, which continued to refuse to engage in open discussions. Henyard's repeated attempts to shut down conversations about financial transparency only added fuel to the fire, intensifying the strain on both the board and the community. One particularly contentious issue was Henyard's refusal to provide key financial records, including crucial credit card statements that had not been shared with the board since the previous year. Bella, unconvinced by Henyard's dismissals, demanded transparency and proof that the village's credit cards had actually been cancelled. The mayor's reluctance to provide verifiable evidence only deepened suspicions surrounding her leadership, further eroding her credibility. As tensions continued to rise, the stakes for Dalton's future grew higher. Many residents began to openly question whether Henyard could recover from the damage done to the community's trust. Meanwhile, Bella's efforts to restore transparency and ensure accountability earned her praise from some residents, but also made her a target of Henyard's increasingly defensive administration. The unresolved conflict between Henyard and the trustees highlights the growing divide within the village government. As the political drama unfolds, it remains unclear whether Dalton will be able to overcome its current leadership crisis, or if the infighting will continue to define its future. The residents of Dalton, frustrated by the ongoing dysfunction, continue to demand answers and accountability from their leaders. The struggle for transparency and accountability has paralyzed the village's political landscape, leaving Dalton's future uncertain. The conflict between Henyard and Bella is far from over, and it is likely to shape the town's political future for years to come. Whether Dalton can recover from this leadership crisis or if the political chaos will persist remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the residents of Dalton are watching closely, and they are demanding answers. The political drama in Dalton has become a defining moment in the village's history, with each new revelation about financial mismanagement and a lack of transparency further eroding the community's trust in Henyard's administration.